Is defense ready to proceed?
Defense is ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Any preliminary matters before we proceed?
Yes, Judge, a few from the people. First, I would ask for order of sequestration with the exception of my officer in charge who will be testifying in the state judge who's present in the court.
Defense would concur in the motion for sequestration, Your Honor.
Let me ask you this, what happened to Mr. What's his name and his client? I need to know about that.
Let's see here.
Oh, you might have to call him back. Maybe that's that iPhone. The motion for sequestration is granted and is mutual. Is there a request? And I apologize, I was multitasking. Is there a request for the officer in charge?
Yes, there was, Your Honor.
All right, with the exception of the officer in charge.
Thank you.
There's a gentleman on the back row. Is he a witness in any way, shape, or form?
No, Your Honor, he's here as support for Ms. Glover exclusive.
All right. Anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. The next thing is that the people did offer an amendment more support, including the lesser offense of assault and battery added as count two. And I provided that to the court here in this week.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lastly, Judge, I'm gonna ask the defense counsel on the record that she will stipulate to body worn camera of the police officers, who actually interviewed Ms. Reed in the hospital following the incident.
Stipulate to that, Your Honor.
All right, and is that people's, is that gonna be people's exhibit one?
Yes, Your Honor, that'll be people who did it.
All right, then. Or receive stipulation as the people's exhibit one.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that is all.
Okay. All right, ma'am, you may be seated.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any opening on behalf of the defense? I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. Any opening on behalf of the people?
Yes, Your Honor, just very brief.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, this case in front of the court today is aggravated assault case that stems from an incident that occurred on July 17th of 2022. And Your Honor, the theory for this case provided by the people would be a simple case of revenge. The defendant, Ms. Deanna Glover, and the complainant witness, Ms. Ronna Reed, were co-workers during the time of this incident. There was a prior physical altercation between the parties that kind of boiled over to this block party that was happening on July 17th of 2022. The court would hear testimony from the complainant witness that on that day in question in the city of Detroit at a block party, she was with another individual. They were at a block party. She proceeded to go to a porta potty, and that's when the defendant ran behind her, stabbed her in the back, and the complainant witness turned around and witnessed the defendant running back to her vehicle and fleeing from the scene. Now, Your Honor, the people bring this case to the court, but the people also like to lay out in plain sight, Your Honor, that there is a flaw in this case, and that is that the defendant or the complainant witness did not actually see the defendant stab her in the back. However, Your Honor, the court will hear testimony from the officer in charge, Detective Monroe, and Detective Monroe testified as to his investigation and how he was actually able to identify that Ms. Glover was the person who stabbed Ms. Reed in the back. Your Honor, once the court hears the testimony from the complainant witness and the officer in charge, Detective Monroe, the people are hoping that the court come back with a guilty verdict of count one, assault aggravated. If the court believes the people did not meet their burden with respect to count one, the people are asking the court to consider the lesser included offense of count two, assault and battery. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, any opening at this time on behalf of the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. So to get right to it, the court, as the trier of fact, is going to hear two very divergent stories today. This is going to be a classic. She said, she said. Ms. Glover, as the court is well aware, doesn't have to testify, but she has already indicated to me that she adamantly wishes to take the stand and testify so that this court can get her version of what happened. We believe that the evidence is gonna show that this is a total and complete fabrication on the part of the complaining witness. We believe the evidence is gonna show there's not gonna be any evidence of any stabbing. There is a video that's already been stipulated to, Your Honor. The court would see, if it reviews that video, Your Honor, a bandage on the complaining witness's left shoulder in the area where she's indicated that she's been stabbed. I don't believe there's gonna be any evidence that that stabbing occurred other than the complaining witness's testimony. Even with that all considered, whatever stabbing did or did not occur, Ms. Glover is gonna take the stand and tell you that that absolutely did not happen at her hands. That if the complaining witness did get stabbed, it didn't have anything to do with Ms. Glover. That Ms. Glover, we believe the evidence is gonna show, was attacked twice by the complaining witness. The first time is the incident that the people have referred to in claiming that this was a retaliatory act. We believe that the court is gonna hear evidence of some really serious workplace bullying. And we're gonna ask at the end of these proofs, Your Honor, to find that what's going on here is way past whatever truth the complaining witness is or is not gonna tell. And we're gonna ask at the end of the proofs that the court find the defendant credible in this case and find her not guilty.
Okay. Ms. Cox, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready, Your Honor.
All right. Raise your right hand for me and state your name.
Maria Cox, State of Michigan, Qualified Spanish Interpreter, ID 21221.
Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from English into Spanish anything I say, counsel says, or the court says, and from Spanish into English anything Mr. Lynise says, and from English into Spanish if the deputy says anything, to the best of your ability?
I do.
All right, this is case number 235846901, the people versus Bryant Adali Lynise. Defendant is charged with what is he charged with on my case?
Este es el caso del Estado contra Bryant Adali Lynise, el caso 235846901, y los cargos es...
I'm assuming count one is dismissed or something?
That was dismissed as a
Oh,
second.
okay.
Can I step out?
Hay un solo cargo, dijo la jueza, están discutiendo cuál es el cargo.
All right, defendant is charged with one count of assault or assault and battery, and today defendant has been brought on a tether violation.
El cargo es de una agresión o lesión y también tiene un cargo de que violó las reglas del grillete.
Appearance, please.
Por favor, digan los nombres para las actas.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the people.
Estamos aquí representando al Estado.
Rakidia Hall on behalf of Bryant Lynise. Sir, may you unmute and state your full name?
Señor Lynise, prenda su micrófono y diga su nombre completo.
Deputy, can you unmute Mr. Lynise?
Señor Lynise, por favor, prenda su micrófono o pida a alguien que le prenda el micrófono para decir su nombre en voz alta. Just a minute.
All right, Mr. Lynise, say it for me.
Bryant Adali Lynise Lanza.
All right.
Your Honor, he said his name. Bryant Lynise Lanza.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, which case is this? So Mr. Lynise was sentenced by me on another case for 45 days in the Wayne County Jail.
El señor Lynise obtuvo una sentencia que yo ya di en otro caso de 45 días de encarcelamiento.
And then is this the other case that I'm aware of, or is this a new case?
Y este es el otro caso que es un caso nuevo o el otro que ya yo sabía.
Ahorita,
No,
ahorita me,
Not you, Mr. Lannis, not you,
No le están preguntando a usted, señor Lynise.
Ms. Ritter.
This is the other case the court is aware of.
Contestó la abogada que este es el único otro caso que sabe la corte.
And Your Honor, I can provide some background for you.
No, I remember.
La jueza dice que ella se acuerda de cuál era el caso.
It appears that they picked him up because his tether was not being charged.
Dice que lo trajeron a la cárcel otra vez porque su grillete no se estaba recargando.
sí, no me,
Court date.
¿Le van a dar otra fecha, una nueva fecha?
August 12th.
tenía la fecha de
Your
mi
Honor, could
corte
you
en
repeat the
agosto.
date?
I need you to wait, Mr. Lannis. I need you to wait.
Dice la juez que tiene que esperar.
Está bien.
That's fine.
Ms. Hall, did your client give you an explanation as to why he keeps letting his tether go down low? They're gonna keep arresting him.
Señora abogada Hall, ¿su cliente le dio alguna explicación por qué se estaba descargando el grillete? ¿Por qué no se recargaba?
He did, Your Honor. As indicated in the report, he did seek medical attention.
Su honoría, está indicado en el reportaje que él tuvo que obtener atención médica.
He was stabbed in the arm and unable
Le
to
dieron,
tether.
él le apuñalaron, le dieron una puñalada en el brazo y no podía recargar el grillete.
He did indicate that if the tether comes even as low as 30%, he would make sure it's charged.
Dice ahora que si él va a estar muy pendiente y si se rebaja de menos de 30% de cargo, él lo recarga.
The report says they found him laying in a stairwell. Does he have somewhere to live?
El reportaje dice que lo encontraron pues en la calle. ¿Él tiene un lugar donde vivir?
Sí, sí, sí,
Yes.
pero
Yes.
Lynise, please wait.
tenía miedo, creo, estaba bien confundido.
But I was
en la
afraid, I
casa,
was confused.
porque
Your
sucedió
Honor,
eso
On
afuera
behalf
de
of
la
Mr.
casa.
Lynise,
La abogada le está pidiendo que se calle, señor Lynise.
he does have a place to stay. He was lying in the stairwell because he was stabbed.
Sí, él tiene donde vivir. Lo encontraron en la escalera de algún lugar porque le habían dado la puñalada.
Is this the case with the college student? Or was that the other case?
This is the case with college.
Okay.
Están discutiendo sobre cuál caso se trata eso.
All right, court is going to dismiss the tether violation, but he will remain on tether pending the August court date.
La corte va a quitar el cargo de que usted dejó que fallara el grillete, pero tiene que mantenerse en grillete hasta la próxima fecha de la corte, la cual dijo que era en agosto.
Está bien, está bien.
What is August court
That is
date?
fine.
August 12th at 9:10 a.m.
August 12th at 9:10.
A las 9 de la mañana.
La fecha es el 12 de agosto a las 9:10 de la mañana. Your Honor, this is the interpreter. I just want to confirm the date as August 12th at 9:10 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Ok, sí, esa es la fecha, el 12 de agosto a las 9:10 de la mañana.
Está bien.
That is fine.
Gracias.
Thank you
should
so
be letting-
much.
Nothing
All
further.
right. All right, have a great day, stay safe.
Entonces, tenga un buen día y manténgase seguro.
Tengo una pregunta, le puedo,
I have
le
a
puedo hacer,
question.
señor juez.
I have
Yes,
a question for the judge. Can I ask?
Si puedo visitar a mi familia por un mes porque quiero recuperarme de esto, porque a veces no puedo caminar.
Can I visit my family for 1 month because I can't even walk and I need to recuperate from this injury?
Where is your family?
¿Dónde
Mi
vive su
familia.
familia?
Vive en Greenville, Sur Carolina. Tengo
They
la
live in
dirección,
Greenville in South Carolina.
la dirección es 217 Murray, Greenville, Sur Carolina.
The address is 217 Mulridge, South Carolina, Greenville.
No, they might have to come here, but maybe, no, you're on a tether, so.
O el
I'll have-
tiempo que, o el tiempo
No,
que ella
dice
quiera
que-
poner.
Dice que no porque está en un grillete, que ellos van a tener que venir aquí.
Está bien.
That's
Está
fine.
bien.
That's fine.
All right, Miss.
Entonces,
Stevenson.
nomás,
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
stop,
Your Honor, but there's two people talking at the same time.
Stop. Ms. Stevenson will talk to you about that, and I'll tell her what information I will need before I consider the request. All right, we're on set. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ok, su abogada, la jueza va a hablar con su abogada y su abogada le va a dar esta información. Ella le va a pedir a la abogada que le dé la información que ella necesite.
está bien.
That is fine.
Entonces,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You as well. Mr. Murray? Mr. Murray, I'm in a trial. Come on.
Ready, Your Honor.
All right, hold on. Can the person on the iPhone unmute and state your name, please?
Holloway.
Thank you. Start your video. Case number 205601401, the people versus Jamal Marquise Holloway, defendant is charged with he's still charged with both of these? Isn't one of these a felony? It says license plate registration title unlawfully used on the but it also says documents forgery. Let me see. Oh, I think he's only charged with illegal use. Today is the day set for an arraignment on a bench warrant. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Counsel, hold on, the people first.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the people.
James Murray, P. 5490, appearing on behalf of Mr. Holloway, who is present via Zoom and consents to this hearing being held via Zoom. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Jamal Holloway.
Can you stabilize your device and get stationary, because it's a lot that's going on. It's a lot. Can you come into screen? We're in
Me?
court. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Who else am I talking to? Can you?
Sorry about that. My phone
Okay,
was a little low.
Listen. Okay, please bring your full face into the screen and stabilize your device. Thank you so much. All right,
You're welcome.
today is the date set for an arraignment on the bench warrant. Counsel, how are you proceeding?
This time we would like to stand mute and ask the court to enter a plea of not guilty.
Court enters a plea of not guilty, and let's see. It looks like your client was never sentenced, even though they at some point put him on the docket for review. He failed to appear for sentencing, and he failed to appear several times. He failed to appear several times for sentencing.
I understand, Your Honor. I also saw that in the ROA. However, he has contacted my offices to retain him on not only this matter, but a number of matters in front of Judge Millhouse as well. And despite the register of actions, I can assure you that he is not a flight risk, as he is in the process of getting obtaining his license and wants to handle all his outstanding matters.
Court will set the matter for sentencing May the 16th, if that's a good day for you. How many do I have?
That works for me, Judge.
Okay, let's see if it actually works for me. Your client has to come in person. All of this moving around and not stabilizing the device is a distraction.
Okay, will do, Your Honor.
All right, the matter is set for May 16th at 9:02 in person. Have anything further?
No, thank you.
Nothing.
Your Honor.
All
Nothing
right, then
further.
have a great day, stay safe.
You as well.
People may call their, who was this iPhone? People may call their first witness. This is back on the record in the matter of People versus Deanna Glover.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, people would like to call Renee Reed to the stand.
Okay? It's 11:30, I'm assuming, were these arrangements, are any of these in custody?
They're all. Yeah, all right,
Okay. Just give me the files.
okay.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. All right, please be seated in the witness box. Please keep your voice up, Ms. River.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning. Ms. Reed, can you state your full name for the record? Renee Reed.
I didn't get her first name.
State your first name.
Renee Reed.
Thank you. And Ms. Reed, I want to take you back to July 17th of 2022. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
And on that day, were you near an area of Charlevoix and Mount Elliott?
Yes.
And is that in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
Is that within the county of Wayne?
Yes.
Okay. And what were you doing in that area on that day?
I was at a block party.
Okay. And how did you arrive to the block party? Did you drive, walk?
No, I was with my friend Erica.
Okay. And was it just you and your?
How did you arrive to the block party? Did you walk? Did you drive?
We drove in her car. Okay. And was it just you and, the friend you called Erica?
Yes.
And what's your friend's full name? Do you know?
Erica White.
Okay. So you and Ms. White go to the block party together?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what time it was?
It was around maybe, I'll say 8:30.
Is that at night?
Yeah, that's what time I got there, 8:30 p.m.
Okay. Was it still light outside? Do you recall at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened when you first arrived to the block party?
When I first arrived, I got there, I walked over, I hugged a couple people that I knew already previously for like years.
Okay. And what happened after that?
We were just, dancing, standing around,
Who was
listening. Me and my friend Erica.
Okay. And what happened after that?
After that, we were like, it was like a mix and mingle type of thing. We were just literally just standing out there and talking.
Okay.
Mm.
And did anything else happen after that?
We were drinking, we had a few drinks and nothing else had happened except I had seen her. I seen Deanna.
Okay, so let's step back just a little bit. So you testified that you had a few drinks.
Yes,
Do you recall how many drinks you had?
I would say 3.
3 drinks?
Mhm.
Okay, and what kind, were they mixed drinks? What kind of drinks were
Yes, they were mixed drinks with juice and tequila.
they? Okay, and you testified that you seen her. Who was her? Who are you referring to?
Deanna.
Okay, can you point the person that you're calling Deanna out if you see them in the courtroom? Do you see that person in the courtroom?
Yeah,
Okay, can you point them out and tell me what they're wearing?
gray pants and a white shirt.
Okay, can you tell me anything else about what that person's wearing in prison?
Braids, the mask, gray jacket.
Judge, at this time, at the record reflect identification of the defendant, Deanna Glover. The record reflect the identification of Deanna Glover. Thank you. And what happened when you saw Ms. Glover?
She had walked up and then hugged somebody that like I had previously hugged before I think she got there. By the time I seen her, it was like dark outside, but you was still able to see. It was just getting like the sun was just setting.
Okay,
And
so what happened after you saw her?
she had disappeared. Like I seen her for a second hugging someone, and then she had disappeared. I wasn't like tracking where she was going, but after that, I was just standing there with my friend, like, yeah, that was it.
Okay, so how far away were you from Ms. Glover when you first saw her?
I'll say about 10 feet.
Okay, and at this time, were you with someone or were you alone?
At this time, I was still standing around a whole bunch of people. Erica was right there.
Okay,
She was always right there.
okay, and then what happened next?
It had got later, I had to use the bathroom, after the couple of the drinks. So by this time, it was dark outside. It was like completely dark. It was a little later. I'd say about 12:30 maybe.
Okay,
And I was walking I went inside to a house. It was a house out there. I didn't know whose house it was, but I had to go to the bathroom. I go inside and I look in the bathroom where there wasn't any tissue in there.
okay, so let me stop you just a little bit.
Okay.
So where did you go to the bathroom? Inside the house?
Yes,
Okay, and where was this house located? Do you recall?
it was on the Charlottesville block.
Okay, so was this still within the vicinity of this block party?
Yes, it was right in front of them, like it was on the same block as the block party.
Okay, and did you know who house this belonged to?
No, I did not know who house this was, no.
Okay, but you went inside the house to use the
Yes,
bathroom?
I knew the people from, like that block. My friend was from there, that's who originally invited me. Like Erica, she used to the area. Like,
Okay.
it's always a block party, like every year.
Okay, so what happened when you went to try to use the bathroom?
And there was no tissue in there.
Okay, so what did you do after that?
I lived directly out and I was walking across the street to go to the porta potty.
Okay, and where were the porta potties located?
It was like all the way in the back, like it was cars parked, but it was like kind of behind the cars. Like,
Okay, you recall what street the porta potties were on?
we're on the same street, Charlottesville, we're just across the street, there's no houses over there. So it was just cars parked on the grass and then a porta potty.
Okay, so what happened next?
As I was walking over there, I had like felt a big pain like in my back,
Where on your back?
on my left side of my back at the top,
Okay,
near the shoulder.
and where were you standing when you felt that pain?
I had just crossed the street. I was like on the ground area, like on the other side of the street. I had just like crossed.
Okay, and what direction were you facing, if you recall?
I was facing towards the porta potty.
Okay, and then what happened after you noticed this pain on the left side of your back?
I literally turned right around when I felt it was like a hard push, kind of. So I turned around. Yep, and I had seen Deanna. Her car was parked in the middle of the street. The door was open, and she was running back to the car.
Okay, and when you say you turned around, you testified that you immediately turned around, is that correct?
Yes, I immediately turned around after it happened.
And when you saw Ms. Glover, what was she doing at that time?
She was literally running with something in her hand.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember what it was. It was so fast. I do not.
And do you recall where she ran to?
She ran to her car, like, it was like a whole bunch of people in the middle of the road, standing there. It was only one car in the street. It was hers.
Okay, and did you recall if she got in the passenger side or the driver's side of the car?
The driver, the car was parked and she was running through it.
Okay, and what color was her vehicle? Do you recall?
Yes, it was like darkish blue, she drove it every day. Darkish, like bluish greenish
Okay,
type truck.
okay, and what happened after, you saw Miss Glover running back to that vehicle?
After she ran back to the vehicle, she had pulled off. It was people on the street. She almost hit them. But everybody like kind of ran towards me, like, did she just hit you, Nate? Because they didn't know, like, they thought she just hit me, but it was like a fast, like, it was held like a fast little thing. So everybody was in a shock. They was like, she just hit you, Nate? And somebody had seen my back was bleeding because I had on all white. And they said, they touched it. They said, no, she stabbed you. You gotta go to the hospital.
Okay, and what did you do after that happened?
After my friend Erica was like, come on, I'm gonna take you to the hospital, she was kind of angry and upset that she didn't have a chance to do anything. She ran so and she left so fast. It was like a 5-minute type thing.
Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. Where was your friend, Ms. White, standing at?
She was standing right next to me.
Okay, and do you recall what direction she was facing?
She was kept watching it and turning behind her, like she was watching her back, but she was like turned the other way.
Okay, and what did you do after you left the block party?
We went straight to the receiving hospital. She took me out. We had walked to her car and then we had went to receiving. I was in the passenger seat, Erica's car, and she was in the driver's seat. And she drove, she rushed me.
So you left the block party and went to Detroit Receiving Hospital?
Yes.
Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay, and I just want to take it back just a little bit, Ms. Reed. How do you know Ms. Glover, if you know her?
I really do not know her. I just know of her because she worked with me.
Okay, and when you say work with you, where did you work?
We worked at a factory called Detroit Chassis.
Okay, and were you employed, with Detroit Chassis at the time of this incident?
Yes.
Okay, and you said you worked with Ms. Glover?
Yes.
How long did you work with her for, do you recall?
I got there in 2019. I don't know when she got there, maybe 2 years later.
So she was employed after you were
Yes.
already there?
Yes.
Okay, and did you contact with her at work?
No.
Okay, and was there, anything that happened before this incident at the block party?
Yes. 2 weeks earlier, there was a fight at a store right next to our job, and before the fight, she had threatened me in the parking lot and said like I tried to hit her car, and she like threatened my life. And she came back inside and she was yelling, just causing the scene.
Okay, and when you say a fight happened at the store,
Mhm.
who was this fight between? Do you recall?
It was between me and her, Miss Glover, and my sister.
Okay,
Mhm.
and do you recall, when that fight occurred prior to the day of the incident?
Yes, it was July the 1st.
Okay, so the fight at the store occurred July 1st?
Yes,
Is that your testimony?
yes,
Okay, and did you see Ms. Glover, anytime after the fight at the store?
yes. I seen her after because the fight was July the 1st. That was our last day of work. We had a 1-week vacation after. And after the 1-week vacation, she was at work.
Okay, so you saw her at work after the fight at the store?
Yes.
And when is the next time you saw her after you saw her at work?
The block party. So everyone was talking about the block party all week at work. And then that day, Saturday, we all got off work, I believe at 5 p.m. And I seen her at the block party later on.
Okay. And my last question, Ms. Reed, is, did you in any way give Ms. Glover consent to stab you in the back of the left shoulder?
No.
Okay. Now, you testified that, you went to the hospital, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What happened? Did you talk to anybody while you were at the hospital?
Yes. I called my mom to meet me up there. She met me up there and the police also came up there.
Okay. Do you recall speaking to the police?
Yes.
Okay. And Judge, at this time, I share the screen.
Amen.
Okay, Ms. Reed, there's a monitor in the courtroom. Can you see that monitor?
Yes,
Okay, and do you recognize what that monitor is on? Well, strike it. Let me ask it a different way. Do you, recognize yourself on that picture on the monitor?
yes,
Where do you recognize yourself at?
hurt, laying there,
Okay, and where are you in the picture on the monitor? Where are you?
in the bed,
Okay, and what location are you in?
I believe receiving hospital.
Okay. And Judge, at this time, if people like to play People's Exhibit 1, and stipulated video provided to the court. Okay. And at this time, now, if people like to publish People's Exhibit 1.
Is there sound to the video or just?
Ready?
Yes.
Sorry, please. Find out what happened. Huh? You threw up? Where did it happen at? Your left shoulder? Where were you at? Like in the city?
What you say now? Huh? What street was it?
Oh, you said a block? You said a block party? Somewhere on the Mount Elliott? Do you know who did it? You know the person's name? Okay, where is that at? What job is it? 6 what? French Road?
And the people are stopping the video 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So, Ms. Reed, I don't know if you can hear in the court, but you hear yourself giving the information to the officer?
Yes,
In the video, and he referenced, at your job. Do you recall what you were telling him at that time?
I was told him that she worked at my job,
Okay, and who are you referring to as the person that worked at your job?
Miss Glover.
Okay.
What's the name of the business? Detroit Taxi? And 6501 is the address?
Yeah, and it's Lunch Road.
What's your address? Where you live at? You got ID?
And the people are stopping the video at 3 minutes and 23 seconds, Your Honor. So, Ms. Reed, after you gave the statements to the police, do you recall talking to any more police officers after that? After that incident?
After the incident,
After the hospital visit, you recall talking to anyone else regarding that?
I recall just talking to my mom, and I was on the phone with a couple of my friends. They were just asking, well, I'm okay.
Okay, do you recall talking to any more police officers, any
No.
detectives or anything following up with the case?
Only following up with the case immediately
After I went home, I went to the police station.
Okay, and who did you speak with? Did you call the police station?
Detective Monroe.
Okay, did you see Detective Monroe in here?
Yes, I only have seen him once or twice.
Okay, but you do recall talking to the detective?
Yes.
Okay, without telling me what was said, do you recall what the nature of the conversation was with the detective?
He asked to take a couple of pictures of my back, and, he wanted a statement from me to know everything that happened and who was involved, and where was I, and he asked my friend Erica, she was also with me, and she gave a statement.
Okay, now, do you recall being shown a picture of Ms. Love?
Yes,
Okay, and what happened after you were shown a picture of Ms. Love?
I pointed and said that was her, and, that was it. Like, they showed me pictures and I identified everybody else there, basically.
Okay. Judge, may I have one moment?
Thanks.
One last question, Ms. Reed. Do you recall when you were released from Detroit Receiving Hospital?
The very next morning around, I would say 10, 11, or maybe 1, I don't really remember.
I don't recall, that's fine. Do you remember what time you arrived at Detroit Receiving Hospital?
I'm not sure if it was 1 AM or 2 AM,
Okay,
but
it was the following morning of the block party, is that correct?
it was right the same time as the block party. The block party was still going when I was on my way to the hospital.
Okay, that was about 1 or 2 AM.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Okay, I need to take just a brief recess before cross-examination, so give me 5 minutes. What did I do before? What did I tell you before? Right, the witness can step down, but has to remain in court.
June 3rd.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
For his next session.
All right.
Just now.
All right, you're still under oath cross-examination, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Reed.
Good morning.
So I want to answer just a few clarifying questions, okay, about your testimony, about what happened. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. So about how many people do you think were at the block party when you got there?
When I got there, I would say 75, 60.
Okay, all right. And so when you went to the house to use the restroom, about what time was that? About how long had you been there by the time you went to that house to use the restroom?
I have been there about 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay, and so at that time, when you went to use the restroom, about how many people were you?
100.
Okay, and by that time, it had gotten dark, right?
It had got dark and crowded.
Okay, and at that point, you went to the restroom because you had had the tequila drinks?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and so, after you came out of the house, how long were you in the house before you came out and decided to try to find?
I went directly to the bathroom to see if it was tissue. I wasn't in the house no longer than 5 minutes.
Okay, and so you came out of the house, and about how many people do you think were out there when you came out of the house at the party?
About 120, like it's 125. It was like people kept coming,
Yeah.
going. It was just too many people to count. I wasn't counting I wasn't looking at everybody.
Okay, all right. And so then when you came out of the house and you went to go to the porta potty, there was a lot of people around at that point too?
It was a lot of people around, but it wasn't that many people on that side of the street.
Okay, when you came out of the came out of the house to go to the porta potty, you didn't see Deanna Glover at that point, did you?
No,
Okay, all right. And so you're walking, when you walk from the house over to the porta potty, are you walking by yourself? Or-
no, I'm with my friend Erica.
Okay, and about how many people are around you at that point?
There's not many people on the other side of the street because the block party was towards where the houses are. Going over there, it's like more cars and like more grass porta potty. Like that's all it is over there. So it's not really a few people standing over there. Mostly people are dancing, the music is loud. In the middle, it's like over towards the houses on that side of the block. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I think I get it. Okay, but as you're walking over the porta potty, you don't see Deanna Glover, correct?
no.
Okay, so, I'm gonna get back to that in just a minute. So, you testified that I think about a week before the block party, you and Ms. Glover were involved in a fight?
Yes,
Okay, and, did you testify that who was involved in the fight? You, Ms. Glover, and another person?
there were multiple people there from our job. It was like a going away, whatever, but it was a few people there.
Okay, but who was involved in the fight?
My sister, me, Ms. Glover, and I'm not sure what anybody else was doing.
Okay,
Or who threw punch or, cause I was involved in it, so I didn't see what anybody else was doing.
okay, so at the very least, the three of you and your sister and Ms. Glover.
Yes.
Okay,
Please make sure you let her finish her question before you answer.
okay. And I'll try to slow down too. I don't want to talk.
No, don't slow any slower. I
Okay.
just need her to let you finish the question.
Okay, so, and prior to the fight at the store, you and Ms. Glover had a problem at work, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and did that stem from Ms. Glover accusing you of trying to hit her with a car?
Judge objection, no relevance.
Oh.
yes,
Okay, and did you get, is that something that was supposed to have happened at work?
I had contacted HR and I wrote a statement at work
Okay,
about being threatened for my life.
okay. Did you, were you also, there was a complaint that was issued against you by Ms. Glover?
At work,
Yes.
no, not that I know of.
Okay, so HR didn't reprimand you about trying to hit Ms. Glover with a car in the parking?
No,
Okay, all right. So, but there's something that happens at work and then there's the fight at the store.
yeah, I was threatened at work and then there was a fight at the store, yes.
Okay, all right. And did you start that fight with Ms. Glover? At the store?
Yes,
Okay. And so then you guys get to the block party. And how long had you been there by the time you saw Ms. Glover?
you don't ask me that again?
Yes, ma'am. How long after you got to the block party did you see Ms. Glover?
Maybe, I would say,
He all right, that's my OIC. He put his arm on.
I would say 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
Okay, so you're there about 3 hours and then you saw Ms. Glover? About,
Maybe 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I'm not sure.
okay, did you guys have any conversation at all?
We didn't have a conversation, I just literally seen her in the middle of the street and then she hugged somebody that I knew. So that's how I seen her because I was standing around like a few other people that I knew. And they were actually from that neighborhood, so they technically like invited a few people from our job.
Okay. So as you're walking, I wanna get back now to when you're going over to the porta potty.
Okay,
As you're walking over to the porta potty, You didn't actually, you never saw Ms. Glover touch you at all, did you?
I never saw her touch me.
Yes.
It was kind of a hard, forceful push, and I turned around and I see her hand go back. So I seen that much, and she ran back. So it was a quick turn around and see somebody that close to me. It was not anyone close to me, because there was no one over there going towards the porta potty. That's what I was saying.
Okay, but you didn't see Ms. Glover before that push, right?
Probably because she was in the car. I didn't see her. She was in the car. So you don't really see cars at a block party, just a bunch of people out there.
Right.
So when you ride up, you have to ride up a little bit slowly. You get what I'm saying? So by the time I was over there, she had to be jumping out the car as I was walking towards the porta potty.
Did you see her jumping out of the car?
No,
Okay, did you see her approaching you at all?
no.
Did you see her walking anywhere around you at all?
I seen her walking before that, but I didn't see her get in the car, pull her car up.
Okay, you saw her before that. Is that when she was hugging the person that you had hugged?
Yeah, and I seen her in the middle of the street just standing there or, talking to someone.
Okay, so when you're walking from the house over to the porta potty, again, I'm sorry, about how many people are walking with you?
It's just me and my friend Erica walking over there.
Okay, and at that point, you don't see Deanna Glover, right?
At that point, no.
All right, so how, how would you say you and Ms. Glover were getting along before the block party?
She stood in my life, and I felt like at work, she was kind of where she would be where you're standing and kind of looking at me and talking to other people, like at me, keep parking behind me or like parking near me. I just felt antagonized.
So you guys didn't get along?
It was no getting along, there was no conversations or anything. It's
Okay.
like not my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you try to keep your distance from her?
Yes.
Did you ever say anything to her?
No.
All right. So, did you ever make it to the porta potty?
I never made it to the porta potty. I was right on the sidewalk. I didn't even touch the grass. It was all the way in back of the grass. We had to walk through an empty field, but it was like a few cars parked in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just crossed the street.
Okay, all right. And you said that, so as you're walking, from the house or to the porta potty, you're with your friend Erica?
Judge, ask the answer, objection.
I'll ask it like this.
All right.
Is Erica with you when you walked from the house to the porta potty?
Judge, that's the same question.
She is. I'll allow it, Ms. Stevenson, but you are asking the same question.
Understood.
She was walking to the porta potty with Erica. It was no people around. A car pulled up. It's the bench trial. I got it, but
Okay.
I don't know why you're asking the same question, but you are.
Do you know if Erica's here today?
No, she's not here.
Okay. All right. Okay, I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Just very briefly, Ms. Reed. So you testified, Ms. Stevenson asked you when you saw Ms. Glover, and you testified that she was hugging someone in the middle of the street. You recall that? Was that
Yes.
testimony? Okay.
Yes.
When did that occur? When you were leaving the house, going to the porta potty, or before that?
That was before I went inside the house. I was standing in front of the house the whole night. So my back was turned towards the house, basically. And I was standing watching the street and everybody walk, just standing on the sidewalk right in front of the house. So the person that we both knew who she hugged, was standing in front of the house as well. Well, of course, there's cars parked on the street right in front of the house, lined up, and they kind of hugged right there. The way that's how I seen it. It was literally right in front of me.
Okay, and how long after you saw Ms. Glover did you go from the house to the porta potty?
I had seen her hug him, but then I had seen her again in the middle of the street, so I seen her 2 times. And I would say it could be 20 minutes, 20 to 30. That's when I had to use the bathroom.
Okay, and, my other question is, the person you referred to is Ms. Erica White.
Yes,
How do you know her?
I know her from Detroit Chassis. I had known her, like, I had got there in 2019, I believe I met her in 2020. We had went to another block party at the same exact location, a year earlier, so we had.
So it's fair to say that you met, Ms. White at work?
Yes,
And it's the same, workplace that you, Ms. White, and Ms. Glover worked at the same time?
yes.
Okay, and, how's your relationship with Ms. White now?
I don't talk to her because she didn't want to be involved in what was going on.
I have no further questions.
Okay.
Okay, so did you, you said that as Ms. Glover was walking away from you, you saw she had an object in her hand, is that what you told Ms. Ritter this morning?
Judge,
That's outside the scope of what she said.
Thank you.
Okay,
And I don't have anything further.
all right. You may step down, ma'am, and you may remain in the courtroom. Anything further on behalf of the people?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, the people would like to call Detective Earl Monroe to the stand.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you may be seated. No, he's good, come on. Ms. River.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Detective Monroe.
Good afternoon.
Detective Monroe, can you state your name for the record?
Earl Monroe.
And Detective, are you currently employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
7th Precinct, Detective Unit,
Okay, and what agency is that?
Detroit Police.
And how long have you been employed with Detroit Police?
38 and a half years.
Say that again?
38 and a half years.
38 and a half years.
Yes.
Okay. And
I'm sorry.
38 and a half years. Okay. So Detective Monroe, I want to take you back to an incident that happened on July 17th of 2022.
Okay.
Were you employed on that day?
Yes.
Okay. And were you employed with the 7th Precinct on that day?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall an incident happened on Charlotte and Mount Elliott in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
And is that within the county of Wayne?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you become involved with the incident that happened on that day in that location?
Well, when I come in the morning, I'm assigned cases, and that was one of the cases I was assigned.
And you were assigned as what?
I'm sorry,
What were you assigned as?
the detective on the case.
Okay. And what did your initial investigation entail?
Well, when I get the reports, I read them and see who I need to talk to, and I called in the complainant.
Okay. And do you recall when you made that call to the complainant?
It was the same day.
Okay. And did you get a chance to speak with that complainant?
I did.
Okay. And without telling me what was said, do you recall the nature of the conversation between you and the complainant?
So she was telling me about the incident that happened at the block party.
Okay. And the person you referred to as a complainant, did you ever meet with that person?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see that person in the courtroom?
Yes, she's the lady sitting in the back that was just up here testifying.
Okay. And when you met up with her, where did you meet up with
She
her?
came to the precinct.
She came to the precinct. Okay. And that's the 7th precinct?
Yes.
Okay. And this was on or about July?
I can't remember if it was the 17th or a day or two later, but it wasn't too long after the time. I had to look at her statement and see what the date is if you need it.
Okay. Do you recall if she came there by herself?
She came with Ms. White.
Okay, and from your investigation, did you learn who Ms. White was?
Yeah,
And who did you learn Ms. White to be?
to be a friend of Ms. Reed.
Okay, and did you have an opportunity to speak with Ms. White?
Yes.
Okay, and without telling me or what was said, in the conversation, do you recall what the nature of the conversation was, with you and Ms. White?
Yes.
And what was the conversation about?
She was present at the time Ms. Reed was stabbed by Ms. Glover.
Okay, and was Ms. Glover identified, by Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Okay, and was she identified by anyone else?
Ms. White.
Okay, and what did you do after they made that identification?
That's when I typed the warrant up for Ms. Glover for the assault.
Okay, now, Detective Monroe, can you explain to the court initially, when you take statements, how those are conducted by the witnesses?
Well, I talked to him separately. I talked to Ms. Reed first. She gave me a count of what happened. And she supplied me with a plate number that belonged to Ms. Glover. And that's when I gave the plate number to one of my other detectives while I was talking to her to try and obtain a picture of the owner of the car.
Okay, do you remember, what the detective's name was who you gave that plate number to?
Ernest Macy.
Okay, and do you know what Detective Macy did with that information?
He placed it in our lien system.
Okay, and what happened after that?
He found out who the owner of the car was and populated a picture of the owner.
Okay, now, do you recall, how Ms. Reed obtained that license plate number?
I believe she said she got it from work when they were at work.
Okay, do you recall what make and model of the vehicle was for that license plate number?
Not right now.
If looking at a report, would that refresh your recollection, I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, and when you're done looking at your report, the detective just look up.
The Chevy Trailblazer.
Okay, and do you have a, color for that vehicle listed in your report?
Your Honor, at this point, we're willing to stipulate that Ms. Glover was present at the park. She drove her own car.
How does that help me with, you're stipulating that her car is a Chevy Trailblazer with whatever license plate you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
May I proceed?
You may.
Thank you. And after you obtain that information, what did you do next?
Thank you with your information. The car.
Yes, the car information.
That's what I got the plate and gave it to Detective Macy to run it to find a picture of the owner of the car.
Okay, what did you do with that picture?
That's when I supplied it to Ms. Reed and Ms. White to try and make an identification.
Okay, now, when you supply that information to Ms. Reed and Ms. White, was this done separately?
Yes.
Okay, and did Ms. White and Ms. Reed, identify Ms. Glover?
Yes.
Okay,
Your Honor, I'm objecting to hearsay as to anything that Ms. White would have said.
I'm not asking what was said, Judge, I asked, she was like.
Was she identified?
I'm sorry,
That's where we're, it is, okay.
I refer to.
Okay.
May I have one more, Judge?
You may.
Now, Detective Monroe, after you spoke with Ms. White and Ms. Reed, without telling me the nature of the conversation, let me rephrase the question in a proper way. after interviewing both witnesses, can you tell me during the conduct of your investigation, whether the statements from the witnesses were similar or different accounts?
Well, they were on the same page, yeah.
Okay.
Judge, I have no further questions.
Cross-examination?
Good afternoon. All right, so as the officer in charge, would you know whether or not there was any investigation of the crime scene or anything like that? Did anybody go out and check to see if anything had happened?
No,
Okay.
No, you wouldn't know, or no, it didn't
no,
happen?
it didn't happen.
Thank you.
So is it your testimony, there was no investigation?
No scene investigation. I mean, there wasn't, the scene would have been just blocked, not like a gunshot where we had cases on that. This happened at 2 in the morning, somewhere around 2.
So, do you know the officers that were working on the case?
Who got the run to the case?
Yes.
From my recollection, the officer made the hospital to talk to this girl.
Okay. Was there a Sergeant Taylor involved in this investigation?
That's who went to the hospital.
Okay. And so, you had an opportunity as the officer in charge to read over Officer Taylor's reports, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know whether Officer Taylor reported whether or not he investigated the scene?
Judge, objection, that calls for hearsay.
He's the OIC, I don't know.
I'd have to reread his report now, 'cause I don't remember if he did or not.
Okay, so if I show you his report, would that refresh your
Yes, it will.
recollection? Okay, can I approach the witness, Your Honor? Thank you. Okay, can you just read that to yourself and, just look up when you get, after you finish reading?
Yes, it sounded like Sergeant
Hold
Taylor.
on 1 second. Okay, so did you have an opportunity to review Sergeant Taylor's report?
Yes,
Okay, and now based upon that review of Sergeant Taylor's report, you know whether or not Sergeant Taylor did an investigation of the stabbing scene?
that report sounds like he sent somebody to that location. He didn't go. It's house 3-5.
Okay, all right, so based upon, so he sent somebody, or somebody went and did an investigation.
Right, they didn't find it.
They didn't do, what did
He
you
said they
say?
didn't find it. The report says they didn't find a scene for staff.
Okay, so they didn't bring back from that investigation any proof that it's stabbing.
Correct.
Okay, all right. I don't have anything for
Any redirect? Very briefly, Judge. So Detective Monroe, based off Ms. Stevenson's question, what, if you know, what do police officers generally look for at a stabbing scene?
Stabbing scene. Would be blood, depending on how bad she was bleeding. If they said she discarded a knife or object, they'd be looking for that, but she said that she ran off with an object in her hand. So it's not really a whole lot they were looking for.
Okay, and you agree to report that the officers went to the location,
Yes.
which is a general block of Charlotte Boyd, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and, in the report, Sergeant Taylor, mentioned that he did make a contact with the complainant at the hospital,
Correct.
and he observed that there was an injury to the left shoulder of the complainant.
Correct.
No further questions.
Okay, so you just testified that she, and I'm assuming you mean Ms. Reed, said that somebody had an object in their hand, correct?
Yes.
Okay, are you recalling that from the testimony that you heard this morning, or did Ms. Reed relay that information to you before today?
Judge, I'll object to the proper question. She's asking if he heard the testimony today, so he's testifying to the testimony he heard, or is this the information he got from the investigation?
That's a proper question. If he testified that Miss Reed said that Miss Glover ran away with something in her hand. The question is that information something that was relayed to him during his investigation or from this testimony today? I'll allow the question.
I heard her say it here.
Okay, so did you have an opportunity to question Ms. Reed in preparation for this, for finding out whether you're gonna get case on? You had an opportunity to question her.
Jump back with his hat.
Yes.
Yes,
You took a statement from her?
yes.
Okay. Do you recall her telling you in that statement that she saw Ms. Glover with an object in her hand?
I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. So your conclusion today that pursuant to the investigation and finding a knife because somebody said that they had an object that didn't really have anything to do with the investigation, did it?
Judge, objection to mischaracterization, there was no mention of the crime. She said object.
It's the same.
So, okay, not anything further. Thank you.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
All right, then we are, all set, officer, detective, I'm sorry. Anything further from the people?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, people rest.
The people who rest.
All right, anything on behalf of the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, it's just one second.
I mean, I didn't mean that. I mean, yes,
Okay, all right.
there's only one. Oh, no, that's not, that doesn't help.
Oh, 8:59, yeah.
And why I put this at one time? Can you see if they come here from? I was probably thinking how we need trial. But I don't see a trial on there. Ms. Dixon?
This time, Your Honor, defense intends to call the end.
All right, well, it is 12:30, we're gonna take our lunch break. And we will return at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Yeah, I don't remember why, maybe one of them asked me for that, you know?
Probably.
So I don't know why I did that first thing, I might have to do it now. Okay, we're in recess, I feel it's lunchtime.